We'll kick it off, Tom. It's been an elongated arrival into camp with the players. How is everyone?
Well, everyone eventually arrived last night. The Arsenal players, we've had a brief cameo at dinner last night, and we'll see them again this morning, but they seem to be, everybody's healthy at the moment, so that's a good thing. And we've had a couple of training sessions, probably one more than we normally have, so yeah, apart from the cold weather and the rain, everything has been going quite smoothly.
Okay, we'll head to Jonas.
Tommy, I guess you just mentioned the Arsenal trio. What involvement are they going to have tomorrow?
I need to have a chat with them today. Literally, as I say, they came in for dinner last night and then they were basically straight off to bed. I haven't seen them yet this morning, so I need to have a chat just to see how they are realistically. And as I say, I can't say this definitively at the moment. Realistically, our thoughts are sort of towards probably not starting them in the game just because of them coming in late and all the other stuff. So that's kind of the thoughts at the moment. But we just have to. I'll know more about that later today and tomorrow morning.
Follow up, Anna?
Yeah, I guess this question to both of you. What sort of lift? We saw some of the celebrations you guys had welcoming them into camp. What sort of lift has it given everyone in this group having players go and do something like they achieved on the weekend?
Yeah, I think it's so special what they achieved at the Champions League. I mean, to win something like that is amazing on one of the biggest stages of football. So definitely really inspiring to all us girls, and then to have them come in and celebrate them, I think that just gives so much energy to the group.
Joey?
Tom, would it be maybe Kyra more likely to feature tomorrow given the extended roles that Caitlin and Steph played in the final?
Theoretically, probably. Obviously, because she didn't play in the game, so that would be the case. But it's probably not so much that part of it. It's all the whole emotion of them going through what they did and then coming in late, etc. So we just have to be careful. It's more about the welfare of our players is always front and centre of what we do, and what we don't want to do is take a risk with any of the three of them. If we don't need to, for a friendly game, particularly when we've got another game on Monday night. So our thoughts are more around that way. But again, yeah, Kyra in the sense that she hasn't played, obviously from a physical perspective, is in a much better position to get minutes.
And just now that you've had a chance to see everyone coming to camp, any other fitness or injury concerns that you have to juggle?
Not at the moment. Everybody's trained fully in the last 2 days, and everybody hopefully, our Grim Reaper medical people, actually didn't have the hood up when they came into the meeting this morning, so that's always a good sign, and everybody should be training this afternoon.
Just one for both of you, coming back to Melbourne and playing in front of another big crowd we anticipate. What sort of opportunity is that? Obviously it's friendly, but there's such interest here to continue that interest and excitement around the way that you play. What sort of opportunity is this? Question to both.
Yeah, I mean, we love coming back to Australia to play in front of our fans. They give us so much energy out there on the pitch. It's an incredible atmosphere every time we come to Australia. So I think we just want to keep inspiring the next generation and everyone that comes and supports us.
Look, the crowds have been unique. I've never witnessed in all my years in football the crowds like the crowds that come to the Matildas game. So it's just an amazing atmosphere, and the fact that the team is still coming back and selling out stadiums is just is phenomenal. So that certainly gives the players a lift and extra energy. But it's like anything, the Asian Cup's 9-10 months away. Every game is important to every player, whether that's an established player who wants to come in and get established and start in a living, or whether it's a player coming into the camp for the first or second time to actually make an impression and get selected in the squad. So all games are important, but they become much more important as we get closer to a major competition.
Roy?
Tom, given the Asian Cup's on the horizon, how important are these games in having a look at your attacking options, especially tomorrow night, considering, as you said, Caitlin might not play much, Sam's still out, Mary Fowler's out there. How important is it to have a look at some of our other options going forward?
and Hayley Russell and Shan Fryer and Courtney Nevin and Tamika Yallop, sorry, she got married, forgot about that. Tamika Yallop, yeah, so we've got a few out. But again, it's like anything, you have no control over that as a coach, but what it does do is it opens up opportunities for other players, and it gives them a chance to actually get quality game time and to see how they step up to international level. So it's like anything, an unfortunate injury to one player is an opportunity for another.
One for Charlie. So two Australian First programs funding gender equality in sport were cut from the Victorian state budget last month. Could I just get a reaction from you to like the importance of funding in women's sport and when it's still sort of at risk?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but I think gender equality is so important, and something that holds a big place in all our hearts in the national team. That's something we always fight for, is to get equal rights in the women's game. But and that's something we're always going to push for, and for more equality.
And we also need more sponsorship, more media space, and more people coming to games. We don't as the Matildas because we fill out, but the sports in general and the levels below at the A-League Women, etc. There needs to be more of that coming into women's sport.
Just one for Charlie on the coach. I mean, it's noticeable when you...
She'll say good things because I'm sitting beside her.
The pressure is on, given you're sitting right next to you. But
I'm going to play you tomorrow, so sorry.
No, that's okay. Just one on, I mean, I guess in part how he interacts with you and the players and the media. It seems to be, a really enjoyable, fun kind of energy. Can you tell us a bit more about that and what that brings to the way you play and the way you're all feeling inside a camp?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having Tom come in has been very refreshing. I think he came in at a really important time. We needed that positive energy and to really find ourselves again. I think he's really helped us to do that. He's just given us a lot of confidence to, be ourselves, play with freedom and enjoy, playing football, because that's what we're all here to do.
Do you agree with that, Tom?
100%. I don't know who you were talking about there. No, look, it's important. There's a couple of things that's important. One is that that we go out and we play the Australian way. I think when I came into the team, obviously they'd come off a difficult campaign at the Olympics and confidence was low, so we had to get back into building the confidence individually and collectively. But secondly, it's important now and heading forward into the Asian Cup that we really get back to playing how Australia plays.
Tom, how have you seen this group grow in the recent months?
I think the most significant thing I've seen, if I try and think back, is that the players that have been on the fringes now are starting to, I think, come into their own a little bit. As I say, when I came into the job, understandably confidence was low, and when that situation happens, the less established players are particularly hit by that because it's a difficult situation. And I think the pleasing thing I've seen is that some players that have come in who haven't had lots of minutes in the past are now sort of look and I think feel more confident in the team.
Joey.
Maybe a question for both. Start with you, Tom and Charlie. We've just seen the end of the A-League women's season. I think every member of this squad has played in the A-League women. You've got 3 alumni, female coaches from the A-League in your staff for this window. Tom, just as we reflect on the season gone and what comes next, just how important is the local A-League women to the Matildas?
How long have we got?
As much as you need.
It's been vitally important that when we started the A-League women, or the W League as it was in those days, in 2008. Part of one of the 2 or 3 things that were important were to give more players opportunities to play against national team players and to get opportunities in the national team, and at that time our league was the forefront of women's leagues, to be perfectly honest. It's still become very important, and coaches and staffs and players are doing exceptionally well, but the league itself is in need of significant improvement in its professionalism. I think there are arguably not arguably, there are 3 clubs that are suitably staffed, and that's Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory and Wellington Phoenix, and the rest of the clubs are completely inadequately staffed, and that's a starting point. Players get, I think, 35-week contracts now. The league has just started in Canada, which football-wise we're well in advance of Canada, where the base salary is twice what our basic salary is, where there's full-time staff, full-time players, and we're still trying to produce players when we have a space of 3 months where the club has got no contact, no control, no reference point for the players to actually keep them and know what's happening. So yeah, you know, we really need to have at A-League level a real rethink. I told you how long, you got me on the soapbox. The league's been going for 17 years. When we started the league and the coaches came from our institute programs, we had full-time coaches and more full-time staff than we have now. 17 years in. The A-League separated 5 years ago, and what we have done then is we've got home and away, which is an improvement, but we are still grossly underinvested in the women's game here, and it really needs, I don't know if there's a thought process going forward about where they want to take the league or what they want to do, but there's a huge amount of work that actually needs to be done, and it's even more irritating when you think how successful we had. The most successful World Cup ever 2 years ago, and our A-League women are in the situation that they're in now is just not good enough. Charlie, you can add on to that.
I think you covered everything.
I guess I've got a nice one about Tom's 50th in a sec, but Charlie, do you notice the big difference now that you've been playing in Sweden and obviously now at Tottenham in terms of the level of control, say, the clubs have, or the level of resources and things that you get now?
Especially at Tottenham, I think seeing the resources there compared to Australia is, yeah, it was very mind-blowing, to be honest. Sweden was a step up, but that still, I think, got a long way to go in Sweden, especially some of the clubs that I played at there. But yeah, so seeing things like that, it's like, yeah, it does give that drive where you want Australia to be better and push for those facilities, those resources, because having them there every day at Tottenham, it helps you become a better player, like having so many different people that you can go to for different areas of the game, and you can only imagine what that'd do for Australia if they were given the same resources.
Tommy, it's the big 150.
Certainly.
Yeah, for you. Just how do you reflect on it, and what's it meant this stint in particular, and how do you feel like you've been able to leave the program for the
That's a good question. Hopefully okay. So other people might have a different opinion on that. I think it's interesting. I didn't know. You don't count games as a coach. Somebody told me. I don't know. It might have been you that told me. I can't remember. Look, I've just been extremely privileged to have the time that I've had with the Matildas programme, but particularly come in at this time, at this stage in my career, was something that was just not even on the radar. So to have the opportunity for me has just been unbelievable. So I'm really blessed and privileged that that's happened to me. And it's been great being back in working with the players again, and having that balance where, I saw players that we started out with as young 15, 16-year-olds who are now really senior professionals leading the team. So stuff like that really appeals to me, that I don't count numbers of games, I don't count wins and losses. It's more about, how you've seen the programme going, how you've seen players grow, and hopefully it's somewhere along the line you might have had some influence in that, hopefully positive influence. Yeah, and the fact that I'm still here in the job's just a real bonus for me and a real privilege.
Final 2 questions.
I guess Argentina. Just your expectations of them, and are we going to see any surprises starting wise? It is a real camp full of kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone that's put their hand up?
No, there'll be. Trying to think. We have sort of sorted the starting team out. I'm just trying to remember it, to be perfectly honest.
Got one.
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah. Yeah. We'll hopefully there'll be some players in there that haven't had lots of game time or perhaps even any game time. And what I'll try and do for these, it's always a balance. It'd be great if we can give opportunities or more opportunities to more inexperienced players or fringe players in these games. It's trying to work out the right balance as always. But these will be two tough games. Like Argentina will be not probably dissimilar to Brazil. They've got a very, although in women's football they're not up in the, they'll probably be down the ranking a little bit. But Argentinians in football are always very competitive.
And final question. Right.
So I'm just need to ask the obligatory. Have you had any word from the physio in London about how Sam's coming along with the rehab? Any positivity?
Yeah, no, it's actually going really well. We've now had our physios have now had some. We've got a full-time physio in London. That's where all the high maintenance players are, and they've got a really close contact now with Chelsea. So we're heavily involved with Chelsea in Sam's rehab, and the knee is looking really good. And from their feedback, I'm confident that she's getting much closer than she has been over the last few months. So it's really, the news there is that I'm getting back is really positive.